Are Blessed Chameleon Stalkers any good in patch 6.3? Wouldn't it be nice if we had Chameleon Stalkers with 4 ammo instead of 2? How about a bonus versus infantry? How about unspottable to get extra close to the foe before exposure? There's not an app for that, but there is a Blessed unit. Recruited via the spawning sequence mechanic, this unit comes at 32 entities on Ultra unit scale, as in, it is fundamentally different from the 90 entities of the base unit, with 3,392 health between them, or somewhat over half the health of a unit, nearly triple its number. Armor is 40, physical resistance 20%, missile resistance, independent of this, also 20%. Keep them away from dwarf hammerers then. Leadership 75, default, speed 48, charge speed 52. Melee attack begins at 34 and delivers poison with each attack. Attack interval 4.3, no splash damage. Melee defense begins at 46, and that's to be expected. The original has very strong defense. Weapon strength is 37, split base 30, and armor piercing 7, but this version has a bonus versus infantry of 15, which is quite considerable compared to the base numbers. Charge bonus is 35, and mass is a spindly 70. For ranged, ammunition is 4 per entity. Range is 50 meters, and this is a precursor weapon like the original, as far as I can tell, meaning it's a flaming attack weapon. It has fire whilst moving and 360-degree fire, but you cannot consciously aim it. You can choose the target that'll be chucked at, as they charge for melee. Direct impact is 20 base, 10 armor piercing damage, area effect is 50 base and 20 armor piercing damage, reload time 6 seconds. In other words, it hits a lot harder to compensate for the lower number of entities. Detonation radius 3 meters. Other stats are the same as the old version. Total accuracy 30, calibration distance 50 just like the base range, calibration area 3, small penetration cap, max targets penetrated after the first 2, I presume the explosion is once that's exhausted. This is a skink unit for traits, has Stalk, Unspottable, Vanguard Deployment, Strider, so ignores terrain and fatigue movement penalties, or so I'm told, has Primal Instincts, which kick in at 30 seconds after going below 50% health, and one of you commented to make sure I accounted for it properly, the Assassin unit attribute means the unit does double damage to targets below 50% health. I presume that's ranged also. In the redline skills, 3 pips of Skirmisher gives melee defense plus 6, weapon strength plus 12%, and missile strength plus 8%. At rank 7 and up, Spawn Kin, the redline skill, gives leadership plus 5, melee defense plus 5, and missile resistance 15%, independent of shields. In the new tech tree, Tablet of the Skinks gives recruit cost minus 10%, poison plus 20% ammunition, sequence of quickness gives speed plus 10%, of course, and melee defense plus 3 of skirmishing gives Vanguard Deployment, missile strength plus 10%, and reload time reduction 10%. Very good. Skink spawning gives plus 2 recruit rank, of purpose gives weapon strength plus 10%, and enhances Spawn Kin so that it gives a bonus melee defense plus 5 when active. Invigoration is fatigue buildup minus 20% and minus 10% upkeep. So how do we use the Blessed Chameleon Stalkers? As this video should demonstrate, despite the small numbers and low health, they're very, very hard for low-end infantry to kill. They're meant to be strikers, getting in the backline and firing their short-range precursor weapons, and then moving to melee combat as a last resort. Moreover, while flaming attacks are obviously less effective against some targets, like the original, you can get some very interesting results firing at single entities even. So, how you should use them is like roving assassins, seeing exactly what you can get away with. Cavalry spam can make that difficult to be sure, but Lizardmen have other ways to deal with that. If you can get a clean shot at certain kinds of opponents, a unit or 2 of these can do outsized damage, disruption, and chaos. What's changed is that they can spank infantry in ways the original unit generally cannot, going from an extremely good tar pit to a focused, highly resilient buzzsaw that has army build implications if you can spend less effort planning for infantry spam and more for countering cavalry and other large units. Beyond that, try them as the muscle to make skink chiefs a lot more effective at ganking enemy characters. Helping with the infantry fight is always an option once the flaming toys run out. Take care, and have fun making chameleons into all new levels of predators.